Welcome to Loup TV. I'm your host, Gene Munster, joined by Matt Joyce. And Matt is our out of Loop residence expert on Tesla. Thank you for joining, Matt. Tesla topic today is very near and dear to my heart because I love pickups. I owned a Ford F-100 back in the day. I did not misspeak there. It was an F-100. Go do your work on what that vehicle looked like. I'm a big fan of pickups. And I want to take us back, Matt, to November of 2019, the reveal of the Cybertruck. I was not there. I was watching online live. Just for good housekeeping here, I would love where you were in the room when the now famous incident around the glass break happened, and kind of what was the mood like when it happened?
Yes, I was front row with Galileo Russell and Rob Maurer from Hyperchange and Tesla Daily. We were front row, right on that corner. Jaws dropped. Could not believe that they actually released the Cybertruck looking like that. At first, thought it was a prank, just because it looked so
Only
ridiculous.
Tesla.
But then, yeah, and the more and more we saw it, we were like, wait, they're serious, and this thing looks crazy. And yeah, afterwards we got to test drive in it, and we kept seeing it pull up over and over in a loop, giving test rides. And the more and more we saw it, the more and more we liked the aesthetic. So I think it'll grow on people over time, and they've already got a great enthusiastic base of people wanting it.
For what was, just to go back to the moment of the glass break, what was that
Mm-hmm.
moment like?
It was a lot different from the Model Y event that we were at. It was a lot more downbeat. This was like hyped up, next level, smoke, lights, the entire audience just super upbeat and excited. Elon brought that energy as well. And as soon as the steel balls broke the glass, it sucked the air out of the entire room. And it was like, did that just happen? It was honestly just a wild sequence. Like it was crazy.
And it makes sense that Elon would push the envelope there, and the outcome ended up, if those of you who followed that, ended up turning out to be, I think, a positive. My stomach just dropped when I saw it, and I thought, this is bad. And then, of course, give it to Elon. It turned out to be good. I think it created a lot of buzz on Twitter and just showed that he's different, and he's an everyday person that kind of does things that everyday people want to do like that. So we can
Yeah.
move on and get to the really, I guess, the substance of the topic around the Cybertruck. Is now it's been over years since it's been pre-announced, and Ford now is out with their Lightning. Turns out that the Ford F-150 is the most popular vehicle in the U.S. It's the light truck market, I think, is roughly 15% of the overall vehicles sold in the U.S. So it's a big market. The F-150 has long dominated this market. So here they are. Now they have an electric alternative to the Cybertruck. And maybe for starters, somebody, you're really detailed. You do great analysis around kind of the value that you can get from these vehicles. As you think about comparing the two, just maybe kind of check through how you break down the differences between the Cybertruck and Ford Lightning.
Yeah, so both of them start at $40,000, but there are very little details surrounding the commercial version, which is that $40,000 base version of the F-150. They're actually calling it the Pro, which is basically the stripped down commercial version
The
with
stripped
probably
down
a,
version is called the Pro.
yes, yeah, because
Okay,
it's for commercial professionals, right?
got it.
But probably stripped down a lot less tech and features that will be available in what we consider kind of the base consumer version, which starts at $53,000. But that pricing, starting price of $40,000, even for the stripped down commercial version, was still a shocker. That's low. And that's what we want to see in order to make a dent in internal combustion vehicle sales, which is the overall goal, to shift those F-150 ICE customers to F-150 Lightning customers. So if you're making a value prop comparison, we have the most information on the high end. So the Cybertruck
So this
starting
again
at
is we're talking 40,000 versus 53 is on the Lightning side.
Yeah, so to make the best apples to apples value prop comparison of these electric truck offerings, I actually want to go to the very high end. So the highest end Cybertruck, the tri-motor, 79,900. So let's say $80,000 for the most expensive tri-motor Cybertruck versus the F-150 Lightning is 90,000 for that top trim. The difference is, even though it's $10,000 less for the Cybertruck, you get 500 plus miles of range versus around 300 for the F-150 Lightning. Towing for the Cybertruck, 14,000 pounds, only 10,000 for the F-150. 0 to 60 time, under 2.9 seconds for the Cybertruck, 4.5 seconds for the F-150. Payload, 3,500 pounds for the Cybertruck versus 2,000 pounds for the F-150. Charge rate, 250 kilowatts for the Cybertruck, 150 kilowatts for the Ford. And then truck bed
Let
length,
me interrupt you on
6.5
chart.
versus 5.5, and then full self-driving / autopilot versus Blue Cruise.
I did interrupt you on an important point there. The bed size is 6.5 feet for Cybertruck, 5.5 for the Lightning. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the charging difference you talked about is just the speed of the charge, correct?
Yeah, so 250 kilowatts for Cybertruck and only 150 for the F-150 Lightning.
And what would that mean for, you get a full charge on a Cybertruck, and I guess it depends on what you're hooked up to, but you get a faster charge effectively.
Yeah, faster charge. What really matters is how many miles are you adding per charge time, not percentage, because there's different battery packs, sizes, etc. And that 250 kilowatt charge rate allows you to add more miles, and the Cybertruck should be much more efficient on a miles per kilowatt hour basis. So that adds to their advantage even more on the charging side.
So I guess just taking a step back, is that surprisingly close. I mean, 80 versus 90 in the grand scheme of very expensive cars, it's surprisingly close on the price, but there's some still measurable differences in terms of the performance. You probably put it together if someone was going to just pull the brands off of both of these vehicles and look at it as objectively as possible. It would seem that the Cybertruck would come out on top. I do regret a headline in a note that we published after Cybertruck came out that is not going to hit the sweet spot of the kind of that pro market, the people who use these day in, day out. And I remember a couple months after, we went to a construction site and we talked to 20 construction professionals and asked about Cybertruck, and I was expecting to hear a lot of negative things about it, and was surprised that the vast majority of people under 35 years old absolutely loved it, loved the look of it. It just really, I thought they would love the iconic look of a pickup truck F-150, but that surprised me. So, it's good to kind of put the numbers into context and some of the feelings about what we hear on the job site, but what have the numbers said on the pre-order front as far as how consumers are acting between these two?
Yeah, so apples to apples, currently Cybertruck is rumored to have over 1 million pre-orders, but obviously it's been a long time since that announcement. Ford announced that they have roughly 45,000 pre-orders that was after a day and a half. Tesla had 145,000 pre-orders in a day and a half. So that's the apples to apples numbers, 45 versus 145. And the difference is that $45,000 pre-order number for Ford is boosted by the advertising that they've paid for, while the Tesla Cybertruck $145,000 pre-order number is boosted by the fact that you get to lock in full self-driving at only $7,000 if you make that $100 fully refundable deposit. So that incentivized some people to lock in a lot of Cybertruck pre-orders.
Yeah, there's an arb play there where you can put the $100 down and get it refunded because you've got that lower priced full self-driving like you talked about. So even if you make an adjustment on the 40,000 for the Lightning, maybe adjust that up to 100,000, and maybe you adjust the million number down to 700,000, whatever it may be, on the Cybertruck because of that phenomenon you just mentioned, you still kind of see an order of magnitude difference. Now, Cybertruck's been taking pre-orders longer, so we need to factor that in. But let's maybe even step aside from these initial kind of the quick reaction with these pre-orders, and maybe fast forward 1-2 years from now. Do you think there's going to be more Cybertrucks sold in the US, or more Ford F-150 electrics?
I think there will be more Cybertrucks, and I'm all about the value proposition. And the Cybertruck value proposition, if they can get anywhere close to that 40K, that is a game changer for those specs in performance and autopilot suite and charging supercharger infrastructure across the nation. That is really going to be hard to compete with. The F-150 legacy ICE version will still drive large volume. Also, Ford does not really have much experience in scaling an electric vehicle program. It looks like they're proving out that case with the Mach-E, which I actually really like. I think that's one of the best of competition that has to challenge Tesla. But I think it comes down to basically Tesla's electric vehicle track record is trusted, and Ford's truck track record is trusted.
Mhm.
So it really comes down to which path people are going to choose, or what brand perception hits home to you, and what aesthetics, because they're very different looking trucks, which one kind of tugs on your heartstrings more.
One question that doesn't really matter. I'm just curious. The Cybertruck's going to be made outside of Austin. Do we know where the Ford Electric's going to be made? I assume somewhere around Detroit, but
I believe it's in Dearborn, Michigan. I think that's what the May 24th announcement 2 days ago said.
okay. And then separately, if we kind of jump forward to a point of giving some credit to Cybertruck, is there a feature, or as you look at this beyond the brand, is there something about the Cybertruck that you think is appealing? Excuse me, something about the Ford Lightning that is appealing relative to the Cybertruck?
Yeah, I think the powered waterproof front trunk, aka the frunk, is pretty cool. So it's giant, and the feedback that they've gotten from commercial workers is that it would be really nice to be able to put all of your tools in the front of the truck and then use the bed space for supplies and sheetrock and equipment.
What's the powered part of it?
Just that kind of like a power lift gate trunk that just opens with the push of a button, that you don't
Oh,
have to
okay.
manually do it.
I
Yeah.
see. The hood's, it's not like the base rises to get your tools out.
No.
The hood comes up. Okay. I
That's
don't know,
right.
maybe for a few versions down the road. I
Mm-hmm.
know that as those versions come out, you're going to be closely watching, and we welcome you back anytime. Appreciate always the insights, Matt. And on behalf of Matt and Gene and the future of light vehicles going electric, it's really exciting. Bye for now.